My husband wasn't happy about the arranged marriage. He hadn't even seen me in the 3 years we were married. One day, he was drugged, and his secretary asked me to help him out. Afterward, he didn't recognize me and gave me $500,000 as compensation. My eyes lit up. I felt like I'd found the secret to getting rich. I went to great lengths to seduce him, until he decided to keep me as a mistress. He said, "Never fall in love with me. It's impossible for me to love you, let alone marry you." Then he stopped my hand as I reached for his bathrobe. "Hold on a second. I need to get a divorce." The next second, he dialed, and my phone rang. Because of a life-saving favor, my dad had me enter into an arranged marriage with Robert, a man of immense wealth. Who knew Robert would look down on my dad and me so much? Although he gave my dad a substantial payment of $100 million, it was agreed that the marriage would be dissolved after 3 years. Moreover, on the day we registered the marriage, he only sent David, his secretary, with the documents, and I'd been working abroad since. I thought our marriage would only be in name. Who knew that just 2 months before the marriage was to be dissolved, David called me to the hotel to find Robert. I thought it was for something important. After entering the hotel room, Robert pushed open the bathroom door and looked at me, his breathing heavy, his voice suppressed and furious. "I didn't order a special service. Get out in 5 seconds." I froze on the spot. 1, because of what he said. 2, because of how he looked. His handsome face was flushed, his eyes glistening, the outer corners of his narrow eyes red as if painted with rouge. He was soaking wet, his white shirt clinging tightly to his skin, revealing hints of his toned abs, like a sexy, seductive devil. Based on my extensive drama-watching experience, I knew he was drugged. I walked forward and asked, "Can you manage? If not, I'll take you to the hospital. Don't let anyone die." Robert looked like he was in extreme agony, his breathing heavier with each moment. I wanted to call David, but he changed his mind, pushed me against the wall, grabbed my neck, and bent down to kiss me forcefully. My eyes instantly widened. I beat against his hot body with my hands. "Calm down. Calm down. Don't do this." He caught my hands and said hoarsely, "Help me. Afterward, I can give you whatever compensation you want." Then he kissed me overwhelmingly, forcefully taking what he wanted. Waking up the next day, Robert wasn't in bed. My body felt like it had been run over by a truck, aching so badly I couldn't straighten my back. As I got dressed and walked out, I saw him sitting on the living room sofa in a white bathrobe, his relaxed posture suggesting satiety. Our eyes met. The embarrassing scene from last night flashed in my mind. My face instantly heated up, and even the back of my neck was burning. Just as I was about to say something to break the awkward silence, Robert spoke first, expressionless. "I didn't know it was your first time. You can ask for more compensation." I was stunned. Sleeping with my husband, and I get compensation. Thinking about saving money to buy a house, I held up 5 fingers, silently indicating 50,000. A hint of disdain flashed in Robert's eyes. He handed me his phone. "Enter your card number yourself." As I typed, I cursed him in my head. He wants to show off by giving money, but when it comes to it, he acts like he looks down on people. Later, when he was filling in the name, he asked, "What's your name?" I was taken aback again. "You don't know me?" Robert countered, "Should I know you?" I was speechless, thinking about it. He hadn't seen me in almost 3 years of marriage. I tried hard to hold back a laugh. "Sarah, I've given you 500,000. Remember to keep this a secret, huh?" "Is there a problem?" Not only did I not expect him not to recognize me after I told him my name, I also didn't expect to get 500,000 for sleeping with him. Looking at the deposit notification on my phone, I thought, if I could sleep with him a few more times, wouldn't I strike it rich? My mind raced, and I smiled slightly. "No problem, but if you ever run into something like this again, you can look for me." Robert's face instantly darkened. He called David into the room and ordered him, "Take her to a pharmacy and make sure she swallows a birth control pill in front of you." He also warned me, "Don't ever appear in front of me again." David's eyes widened like saucers, and he hesitated, saying, "Boss, you." Afraid David would reveal my identity and ruin my get-rich scheme, I immediately interrupted him, grabbing his arm and pulling him out. "Don't say anything else, just take me to buy the pill first." Outside the hotel, David asked, "Did you fight with the boss?" After making sure no one was around, I lowered my voice. He didn't recognize me. He thought I was a prostitute. David was surprised, then quickly understood and comforted me. I smiled indifferently. "Remember to keep it a secret for me. If he needs a special service again, you can still come and find me." David looked embarrassed, the boss is usually cold and abstinent. He never messes around with women. He was set up at a party this time. If I hadn't taken it upon myself to contact you, he would have endured it. I was very surprised. The way Robert had handled things didn't seem like someone abstinent. But hearing that he kept himself clean felt good, also. He'll find out your identity eventually. Isn't it bad to keep it from him like this? How is this bad? This is great. It's his fault for not recognizing me. Then I said pitifully, I was raised in the countryside since I was a child, with parents who didn't care for me. I thought marriage would end this tragic fate, but your boss didn't give me a single penny. Having him was worse than not having him. Just take pity on me and let me make some money off him after the marriage is dissolved in 2 months. I'll leave immediately and never bother him again. Perhaps out of pity for my miserable past. David sighed. All right, but if the boss finds out the truth, you have to make sure I'm not implicated. I patted his shoulder. Don't worry, I won't drag you into it. Let's go buy the pill now. Are you going to take it? Of course. I don't like him, and we're getting divorced soon. If I got pregnant, it would be a huge hassle. From then on, I waited every day for Robert to be drugged again. After waiting a week with no results, I even suggested that David drug him. David didn't dare, saying the person who had drugged Robert last time had their tendons cut. So I changed my approach. I asked David for Robert's preferences, schedule. I was determined to seduce Robert into keeping me as a mistress, as luck would have it. The day I went to a bar to accidentally run into Robert, I saw him fighting with a few men. Onlookers said a beautiful woman had taken a liking to him, and when he rejected her, she got angry and hired people to teach him a lesson. I guess I'm just too kind. When one of the men pulled out a knife and attacked him from behind, I rushed forward and hugged him. Watch out. Robert was fine, but my left arm was stabbed. Robert turned back and looked at me in surprise when he saw that my arm was injured and bleeding. A spark ignited in his eyes. He cursed, looking for death, and kicked the man with the knife, flying. By then, security had restrained the other troublemakers. The manager also rushed over, bowing and scraping to Robert in apology. Robert didn't even look at him and quickly picked me up to get into the car. After getting stitches at the hospital, he looked at me, his tone serious. How did you end up there? Huh? Was he suspecting I was stalking him? I was just out having fun. Why did you shield me? My mind spun, and I decided to make good use of this situation, my voice shy. A single night as husband and wife means 100 days of kindness. I couldn't bear to see you get hurt. A vein throbbed on Robert's forehead. It was just a transaction. There's no such thing as marital kindness between us, but you were my first man. It's hard for me to forget you. Robert's ears turned slightly red, his tone a bit unnatural. I'll transfer 500,000 to you for your injury. From now on, pretend you don't know me if we meet, and don't interfere in my affairs. Oh, okay, yeah, right. After he transferred the money and put his phone away, I suddenly felt my arm injury was well worth it. A smile involuntarily curving my lips. Robert's gaze paused. What are you smiling at? Huh? Just thinking you're handsome and generous, a good person. Could I add your WeChat? Why would you add me? Didn't I get hurt for you? When I'm better, I'll let you know, so you don't worry. In reality, I wanted to show him my positive, sunny life and maintain my presence in his mind. Robert scoffed, his sharp eyes seeming to see through my little scheme. Don't harbor any fantasies about me. I have no interest in you. Oh, fine. If he didn't want to add me, that was okay. I had David as my informant anyway. I stood up and started to leave. Robert extended his long arm, offering his phone to me. What? Didn't you want to add WeChat? Do it yourself. It was unexpected. I took his phone and added my burner WeChat account. I felt one step closer to getting rich. I had planned to fully recover before contacting Robert, but after 3 days, my dad asked me to take a cooperation proposal to Robert for review. He even said he'd give me 50,000 yuan as a reward for running the errand. For the money, I went. That evening, arriving at the Grand Horizon restaurant, where Robert was having a meeting, I asked David to give the proposal to Robert. While waiting for David's reply, I sat on the flower bed downstairs, chewing the gummy that Dad had given me. My dad placed great importance on this meeting between Robert and me. He not only hired someone to style me but also paid attention to details like my oral hygiene. About 10 minutes later, I started feeling warm and uncomfortable. I called David, wanting to ask if he was done. As soon as the call connected, I heard Robert scoff. People like Qiao Feng, who sell their daughters for gain, are not fit to cooperate with the Gu group. From now on, if he or his daughter tries to see me, refuse them all, lest he think his daughter is some precious gem to me. That he can sell her again and again. David replied okay, then asked me, "What is it?" My mouth was dry, my face red, my body felt so hot that my blood seemed to be boiling, as if it could burst through my veins at any moment. In a flash, it dawned on me. My dad wanted me to sleep with Robert and make the situation irreversible, and the gum he gave me was an aphrodisiac. Thinking that Robert and I were married and had already slept together, I asked David to give the phone to Robert. "I was drugged with that kind of stuff. Could you help me? Just like I helped you?" 5 minutes later, David was driving. Robert and I were in the back seat. My body was burning, and deep down, it felt like thousands of insects were crawling, biting, and itching my bones. I seemed to have lost my mind, left only with primal instinct. I climbed onto Robert, kissing him while trying to undo his pants. He gasped, pushed me away, and warned me, "Touch me again, and I'll throw you out onto the street." My voice was full of grievance. "Didn't you promise to help me?" When I said help, I meant taking you to the hospital for a stomach pump, remembering getting my stomach pumped when I was drunk before, the tube going from my nose into my stomach, the machine pumping water in and out repeatedly, making me feel overwhelmingly sick afterward. I shook my head in resistance. "No stomach pump. If you won't help me, then I'll find another man. Suit yourself." Robert's tone was cold. I was both angry and uncomfortable, cursing. "You bastard. I'm your wife, I mean. Your old friend, right?" I quickly changed wife to old friend on the fly, because I remembered him telling David not to let me find him. I was afraid that if he knew my identity now, he wouldn't help me and might even ask for the 100 million back. Robert glared at me. "Talk nonsense again, and I'll pull out your tongue." I'd heard he was ruthless and decisive. Although he was only 27, he was a major player in Sterling City, controlling both legitimate and illegitimate businesses. I truly caved. I called my best friend Emily. After explaining the situation, I decided to go to her place and ask her brother Mike for help. David didn't dare change the route. I was so anxious. I wanted to jump out of the car. Robert pressed down on my hand, reaching for the car door, his tone a bit impatient. "Go to the place she mentioned." Afterward, he let go and moved far away from me. In the confined car, no one spoke anymore. Only I was biting my lips in discomfort, letting out short, faint gasps. Arriving at the destination, Mike opened the car door and bent down to hug me. I couldn't wait and kissed him on the cheek. Robert suddenly pulled me into his arms, demanding in a deep voice, "You're going to sleep with him?" "Yes." Let go of me quickly. Robert's dark eyes surged with anger. Wondering why he was so angry, he slammed the car door shut with a bang. Emily and Mike, who knew about my relationship with Robert, were both stunned, watching my antidote drive away. I was so angry I wanted to curse. Just as I opened my mouth, Robert's rough fingers rubbed hard against my lips, as if trying to wipe away something dirty. I cried out in pain. David immediately raised the partition, separating the car into two independent spaces. Robert's dark eyes fixed on me. "Has any other man touched you besides me?" Angry at his barbaric unreasonablings, I snapped, "What the hell is it to you?" He squeezed my chin. "Yes or no?" Tears of pain welled up. "No." He let go, conceding. "Good girl, I'll help you this once." Saying that, he kissed me while his hands got busy. I was shocked, and quickly succumbed. Impatiently demanding more from him, he tried hard to restrain himself, kissing the soft flesh behind my ear, his voice husky with sensuality. "Slow down first. I'll give you everything later." I gradually lost the ability to think, yielding to him completely. I don't know where Robert took me, but when my consciousness returned, I found myself in a bathtub. I looked at Robert, confused. His eyes were dark. He undressed and stepped in. The bathtub was too hard. It was a bit uncomfortable. I wanted to push him away, but he was quicker, his large hand gripping mine, spreading it open and pressing it down, fingers interlocked, placing them on the edge of the tub. "I want to go to bed later, but listen to me." Saying that, he held me and lowered his head to kiss me. The next day, I woke up to broad daylight. I was alone in bed. I wanted to get up. I found I wasn't wearing clothes, and there were no clothes for me to wear. Looking at the layout of the place, it didn't look like a hotel, but a private bedroom. While debating whether to pick out some clothes from the closet, Robert walked in. His brows showed a hint of satisfaction. He was wearing a black silk robe, the open collar revealing his delicate, pale collarbone. Below his collarbone were two small tooth marks, from when I bit him last night in uncontrollable passion. My face instantly felt hot, and I looked away. Let's talk, huh? Could you get me some clothes first? What clothes do you need? Didn't you stage this whole thing to seduce me, hoping it'd strip you naked? Saying that, he threw the gum into my hand. My heart skipped a beat. Did you go through my bag? It fell out of your bag. Tell me. Why did you scheme against me? I didn't mean to scheme against you. I didn't know there was something wrong with that gum. Robert leaned over, his arms propped beside me, his dark eyes fixed on me, as if trying to scrutinize every inch of my face. First time, you barged into a hotel to sleep with me. The second time, you risked your life to shield me. Last night, you even dressed up carefully to seduce me. What exactly are you trying to get from me by doing all this? His tone was calm and deliberate, like an interrogation, yet also like a seduction. I felt as if I was hypnotized and lost my mind. Speaking my true thoughts, those things were coincidences, but I do want your money. He paused. How much money do you want? 5 million, enough to buy a decent-sized renovated house. You want 5 million for one night? I'd be at a loss. What about several nights then? My mouth was faster than my brain. He curved his lips slightly. A thought sparked in my mind. I boldly kissed him on the lips and looked straight into his eyes. How was last night? Were you happy? You can keep me as a mistress. That way, I can make you happy every day. His ears instantly turned red, his voice holding a strange allure. You like me? No. Then do you want to like me? Or marry me? Neither. So you only like my money? You just want my money? Yes. He chuckled softly, his eyes sparkling, seemingly pleased with my answer. Remember what you just said. If you like me or want to marry me, then you won't get my money. I was stunned, then said overjoyed. You agree to keep me? Yes. From now on, you'll live at the Clock Tower residence. I'll give you 5 million a month. Is that enough? 5 million a month. This far exceeded my expectations. I smiled, my sweet dimples showing. More than enough, more than enough. He touched my face and instructed, remember never to fall in love with me. I can't love you. And I certainly can't marry you. Thinking about the marriage certificate at home, I couldn't help but chuckle. What are you laughing at? I'm laughing because what you said was perfect, but I have one condition. If I want to end this relationship, you must agree. I planned to end it when we divorced. After all, being his wife, even if he didn't give me money, I had to make him happy. But doing this after divorce, I would despise myself. I would feel like I was selling my body for money. Well, I guess I was being a bit dramatic. Robert nodded. Okay. I couldn't hold back. So, are you transferring the money now? He paused, smiling helplessly. You are. I interrupted him, reaching out to take off his robe. Don't worry, I'm very proactive about wanting money and providing services. He stopped my hand. Hold on a second. I need to get a divorce. My face stiffened. He wanted a divorce already? How was I supposed to continue the game? Robert raised an eyebrow at me. What? Surprised I'm married? No, I was thinking you don't need to get a divorce. I won't tell your wife about our relationship. Robert looked serious. The first night, I was forced. But last night, I actively violated my marital fidelity. I tried to persuade him. What does that matter? It's perfectly normal for rich people like you to keep mistresses behind their wives' backs. He insisted on his principle. I don't care what others do, but I must give her basic respect, even if she's just my nominal wife. Saying that, he walked outside the bedroom and said to David, call Sarah now and inform her that we're ending the arranged marriage early. I wasn't wearing clothes, so I couldn't go out and coordinate with David then. In less than half a minute, my phone's ringtone blared in the quiet bedroom. I thought if I didn't answer, I might get away with it. Who knew Robert would walk in and say, your phone is ringing, aren't you going to answer? My heart pounded wildly, and I said nervously, I'm not dressed. I won't answer. I'll get it for you. No need. Just as I finished speaking, he walked to the cabinet across from the bed and reached into my bag. At that moment, I deeply understood what despair felt like, but I quickly comforted myself. Forget it. Maybe I wasn't meant to get rich when I was born. A fortune teller predicted bad luck, saying I would bring misfortune to my parents. That very year, my dad's business ran into trouble, nearing bankruptcy. My mom also had a lover and was pushing for a divorce. Then both of them blamed me for their problems. They believed I was the cause of their marital and career misfortunes. They sent me to live with Aunt Carol in the countryside. Aunt Carol's family was very poor. I slept with her from childhood until I grew up. I had no personal space or privacy. Sometimes when Uncle Bob came home, I had to sleep on the floor temporarily. After being brought back for the arranged marriage with Robert, my dad didn't let me live at home either, making me rent a place outside. Having a place that belonged solely to me became almost my biggest obsession. Thinking that Robert was about to find out my identity, I hung my head, heartbroken. Who knew he would hand me the phone? They hung up. I took the phone and saw it had just run out of battery and shut off automatically. I saw a ray of hope again and wanted to quickly go out and talk to David. Okay, that's fine. Can you find me some clothes? I want to get up. When I walked into the living room dressed in the clean clothes Robert had prepared for me, he was asking David, "What did Sarah say?" David glanced at me. I immediately spoke up to Robert. "Could David accompany me to buy a birth control pill before doing your business? I'm afraid I'll get pregnant if I take it late." He didn't want me to get pregnant. "Okay, remember to take the front door key. I have to leave soon. You can move in yourself." In the elevator, David looked at me in surprise. "What's going on between you and the boss now?" I let out a big sigh and said, "He decided to keep me as a mistress. Then he's going to divorce you." "Yes, he is, but can you not use your connections to expedite it? Just go through the normal procedure register first, and after the 1-month waiting period, then get the divorce certificate." I was determined to use that month to earn $5 million. David hesitated, but with my relentless pleading, he agreed and took me to City Hall to register for the divorce. In the afternoon, my dad called. Upon hearing that Robert didn't agree to cooperate with him and had registered for divorce with me, he was furious, afraid he would ruin my plans. I lied and said I had taken his gum early, and when the effects kicked in, I found a male escort at a bar to help me out. My dad almost fainted from anger, but with me defiled, he lost the nerve to pester the Gu family further. Accepting that this arranged marriage had come to an end, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. The good news was that evening, after I told Robert I had moved into the Clock Tower residence, he immediately transferred $5 million to me. Even better news was that he seemed to have forgotten about me, his mistress, and didn't contact me for a whole week. That night, thinking Robert wouldn't come to find me, Emily and I went to a bar to have fun. Coincidentally, the bar had a free drinks promotion for dancing, so we went on stage and performed a hot duet of Troublemaker. When we got off stage, many men were staring at us, especially my ex-boyfriend Mark. His flirtatious eyes were glued to me. It was understandable. When I was dating him, I dressed conservatively, not daring to show my calves even in a dress in the summer. My ankles had to be covered. Now, in a black crop top and a black mini skirt, I casually displayed my fair, slender waist and manga-like long legs. Our eyes met. Emily and I both felt annoyed and just wanted to stay away from him, but then his girlfriend Jessica suddenly hugged his arm, scrutinized me from head to toe, and said playfully, "You said Sarah was ugly and dressed like a country bumpkin, that you had no desire for her at all. But seeing her today, she's very pretty. Why did you lie to me?" Mark chuckled lightly. "Don't tell me you're jealous. She only has a face. In reality, she's rigid and boring. Even if she stood naked in front of me, I'd only feel disgusted. I dumped her ages ago." I froze for a moment. I never expected the person who, at the freshman orientation ceremony, had declared before the entire school that he would love me forever, would now publicly humiliate me, and the reason we broke up was because he couldn't let go of Jessica, his white moonlight. And I caught them in bed. Recalling those days, I loved him. My heart ached, and hot tears streamed down my face involuntarily. Emily couldn't stand to see me being bullied and shouted at. "Shut up. The stories of you being Sarah's, someone overly subservient in pursuit of love when you were chasing her, are still pinned at the top of the school forum for countless underclassmen to learn from. And Sarah's current man is Robert, the most famous business tycoon in Sterling City. Be careful. He doesn't make your life hell." After Emily spoke, the crowd of onlookers suddenly fell silent. They looked at us with varied expressions. I was also very surprised. I hadn't expected Emily to bring Robert into it. Fortunately, she knew my concerns and used the word man instead of husband. Otherwise, the secret I'd been keeping might have become public knowledge. Mark froze for a moment, then looked behind us and scoffed. "Look, Mr. Gu himself is standing right there watching us. If he's Sarah's man, I'll bow down and address you both as my superiors otherwise. You two bow down and address me as your superior. Emily and I turned back in surprise. We saw Robert, dressed in an expensive, well-fitting shirt and trousers, sitting lazily on a bar stool. The colorful bar lights surrounded him, highlighting his sculpted features and making him look even more handsome. His deep gaze went past the crowd, looking directly at me. My heart skipped a beat. Had he been sitting there the whole time, watching everything? Emily's face was excited, looking like she was sure of victory. But I felt a chill in my heart. I was just his unspeakable mistress. How could he possibly publicly claim I was his woman? Moreover, what Emily said could damage his reputation. He might even seek revenge on us. I wanted to pull Emily away and leave, but Mark refused to give up, blocking our path, trying to run. Call me superior first, adjusted from call me grandpa. I cursed him. Are you crazy? I didn't agree to this bet. A deep, magnetic voice suddenly came from above my head. Why not bet? Don't you want him to bow down and address you both as his superiors? I looked up at the sound. It was Robert walking over. His long, slender fingers gently wiped away the cool tears on my face, then pressed a kiss on my lips. Like the onlookers, my eyes widened instantly, and I held my breath. I couldn't believe Robert would do something like this. Robert looked at me dotingly. You have to want it, whether you do or not, because I am your man, my man. My heart raced, pounding like a frightened deer. Robert looked at Mark, his tone flat but full of the pressure of someone in power. Bow properly, and speak loudly. Mark's face was extremely pale, and he stammered, I was just joking with Sarah. I hope you won't take it seriously. Robert's mouth curved into a smile, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. If you're unwilling to follow through on your promise to bow down and address them as your superiors, then I'll have someone strip you naked right here and now, so you can experience losing face completely. As soon as he finished speaking, several burly men in black surrounded Mark. Mark's face instantly turned deathly pale. Finally, he resigned himself and knelt before Emily and me, respectfully addressing each of us as superior. Adjusted from grandma, Robert asked me, satisfied? I softly hummed. Robert warned Mark, stay away from Sarah from now on. If I ever find out you're bothering her again, I won't kill you, but I'll make your life a living hell. Mark repeatedly said yes and then quickly ran away with Jessica. Emily chuckled and praised Robert. Mr. Gu is so handsome. Afraid Emily would say something else outrageous, I wanted to pull her away, but Robert said he had something to discuss with me and pulled me away instead. What's your relationship with that man just now? As soon as we got into the car, Robert asked me. We dated. We broke up. I tried to make it sound casual. Do you still have feelings for him? No. Then why were you crying for him? Robert turned to look at me. The city lights reflected in the dark car window, illuminating his handsome face in flickers. He said, as my woman, you cried for another man. I find it very embarrassing. If it happens again, don't blame me for getting angry. Then he looked at my bare, fair waist and long legs. From now on, you can only wear clothes that show off your figure for me. You can't wear them out for others to ogle. I was a bit speechless, and boldly said, I'm just a mistress you keep to satisfy your needs. You don't need to have so many demands on me, do you? He froze for a moment, then scoffed. Then have you satisfied my needs? You're not staying home late at night, you're running around at bars. I retorted, you don't come yourself. I'm so bored waiting there every day. What's wrong with going out for a bit? His eyes showed surprise. You were waiting for me every day? Of course not. This kind of mistress life, where I just took the money and didn't have to work, was amazing. But to maintain the mistress persona, I still softly hummed, and unexpectedly, he said something suggestive, waiting for me, or my body. Thinking, he said that if I liked him, I wouldn't get his money. I forced myself to say, your body. Our eyes met. His ear tips turned slightly red. I was so awkward that my toes curled. To lighten the mood, I changed the subject. I also didn't expect Emily to say that kind of thing about you being my man publicly. If it caused you trouble, I can help clarify. You want to clarify something I admitted to? You want to slap me in the face? No, I just think this kind of unspeakable mistress. He cut me off. I don't think you're unspeakable if you want to go out with me. Just tell me. I widened my eyes in surprise. Can I go out with you? Then, if I want to watch a movie. Will you go with me? Yes. If I want you to go shopping with me? Also yes. Then if you talk too much. He cut me off, leaned over, and stopped my unfinished words with a kiss. After a long while, he left my lips, leaning his forehead against mine, panting, sleep together tonight. I nodded, but when we were actually in bed, thinking it was the first time doing this while both of us were sober. I was so nervous. I closed my eyes and didn't dare look at him. He seemed to read my mind, leaning down and chuckling softly. What does closing your eyes mean? Nervous? Shy? A little of both. It's not the first time. Come on, open your eyes. Look at me. Feeling his burning gaze, I obediently opened my eyes. Our eyes met, just inches apart. My heart pounded uncontrollably again. He kissed my lips with satisfaction at the crucial moment. He stopped again and asked, "Do you have protection?" "No." "Then I'll order some delivery first." "It's okay. I can just take the pill." "No. Taking the pill is bad for your health, but won't you feel happy enough? Compared to your health, that little bit of happiness isn't worth mentioning." I was so surprised he cared about me like that. After he finished ordering on his phone, I was still a bit stunned. "What are you thinking about?" Afraid I'd say I was overthinking, I blurted out something random. "I'm thinking about what happiness feels like." He was very surprised. "You weren't happy before." I was speechless for a moment. He became serious. "Then what did you feel before?" How could I talk about something so embarrassing? "Quick, tell me, this is very important to me." I took a long breath, looking like I was giving up. "The first night you were drugged, I only felt pain. The second night I was drugged, my consciousness was a blur. I only felt hot and thirsty." His eyes darkened slightly. "Sorry, tonight, I'll focus on your feelings." My face flushed red. "It's okay. I don't mind, no. Your feelings are important." My heart jolted, recalling him publicly acknowledging he was my man, and caring so seriously about my health and feelings in this matter. I felt some emotions growing inside me like vines, spreading. I blurted out unconsciously, "Why do you care about me so much? Do you like me?" The desire in his eyes faded bit by bit, leaving only a black vortex. The hand on my neck, which had been caressing, now held me with a controlling grip. "Don't ask for trouble. I care about you because only when you're healthy and enjoying yourself can I feel happy." Whether he was saying it for me or himself, he emphasized again, "Don't ask me such stupid questions in the future. I will never like you." My face felt awkward. Fortunately, I adjusted quickly. Wasn't this mutually beneficial relationship exactly what I had hoped for in the beginning? Why was I being so romance-brained, thinking he liked me because he was good to me, even developing feelings for him because of that little bit of kindness? Got it. I was just asking. As long as you're obedient, I can give you anything except feelings and marriage. But things still got out of control. I did fall for Robert because he was too good to me. From that night on, we were busy with work during the day, and at night we would explore pleasure together. He was like an extremely calm observer, capturing, analyzing, and controlling my every expression with absolute patience. He accommodated me, guided me, and served me. Every time was an utterly exhilarating experience. Besides that, luxury watches, bags, clothes, shoes, anything he thought suited me, he would buy and give to me. He accompanied me to watch movies and explore local food streets, which he didn't like, but I loved. Sometimes when I was hungry in the middle of the night, he would even get up and make me pasta. My feelings for him grew deeper day by day. When he helped me hand wash my underwear stained with menstrual blood, I even developed a strong desire to spend my life with him, but thinking he didn't allow me to like him, I didn't dare to confess my feelings. With only 3 days left until we were supposed to get the divorce certificate, I asked Emily to lunch, wanting her to help me analyze whether I should tell Robert I was his wife. Unexpectedly, in the restaurant corridor, I ran into a beautiful, confident woman who stood on tiptoe and kissed Robert on the cheek. When Robert saw me, a hint of panic flashed across his usually composed face. The beautiful woman, however, was very calm. She familiarly took Robert's arm, leaned on his shoulder, and said, "You know her?" A thought suddenly struck me. This woman must be someone he liked. He was afraid I would reveal our little affair, which was why he panicked. My heart ached with bitterness, and I said with a forced smile, "No, I don't know her. You to carry on." Saying that, I pulled Emily away. Back in the private room, Emily said indignantly, "Robert was the one cheating. Why didn't you go up and hit him or curse him? Why did you run away?" Tears streamed down my face before I could speak, my voice full of grievance. He never admitted I was his wife. As a mistress, I have no right or standing to question him, but everything he did for you, it looked like he liked you. I wiped the tears from my face and smiled bitterly. Maybe we were too naive. He did those things just to make me willingly obey him. It's a good thing I didn't confess my identity or my feelings to him, or he'd be laughing at me. Emily comforted me for a while longer after parting with her. I returned to the clock tower residence. That evening, Robert woke me up by kissing me after he had showered and gotten into bed. Afraid he wanted to be intimate, I settled into a comfortable position in his arms as usual, closed my eyes, and said, "I'm a bit tired today. I want to sleep." Is there anything you want to ask me?" Thinking of the way that woman kissed him, my chest felt like it was stuffed with cotton, painful, but I didn't want to make things awkward, so I said stubbornly, "Huh?" "No." He was silent for a moment. "You saw another woman kiss me. Don't you have any thoughts about it?" I froze for a moment. I couldn't tell if he was testing me or preparing to lay it all out, telling me to know my place and not be jealous. I hid my emotions and looked up at him. "Yes, I do. I'm afraid you'll only spend money on her and not on me." The light in his eyes flickered, then dimmed, his voice sounding ethereal and disappointed. "You only care about my money." I was a bit confused. "Isn't that good? Didn't you say you wouldn't fall in love with me and told me not to fall in love with you, that we were just getting what we needed?" You're doing great, as expected." He wouldn't have feelings for me. The pain in my heart intensified. I closed my eyes to sleep again, but he suddenly pressed down on me, like a beast, kissing my lips forcefully. Startled, I pushed him hard. "What's wrong?" "You're hurting me good. It should hurt. I'm very unhappy right now, so you shouldn't be happy either." "Are you sick? What does your unhappiness have to do with me? How does it not concern you? I'm paying to keep you. Making me happy is your job." Saying that, he kissed me even more ferociously, even intentionally biting my lip until I tasted blood. The grievances that had accumulated all day exploded at that moment. I cried and said, "Then I'll give you the money back. We can end this relationship." He came back to his senses, stopping abruptly. The fervor in his eyes receded. Returning to a calm state, he wiped my tears while apologizing. "I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me just now. Don't say things like returning the money or ending things. I won't do this again." I sniffled. "Then let's end it in 3 days." "What do you mean?" "You said 5 million a month. 3 days from now will be a month. I don't want to renew." "Why?" "Because we'll be divorced in 3 days. Because you kissed another woman. Because I want a normal relationship." But I couldn't say it. Instead, I asked, "Why are you asking why? Didn't we agree from the start that you'd agree if I wanted to end it?" His eyes fixed on me. "Are you sure?" His hand, which had been propped beside me, slowly clenched into a fist. Then he sighed and let go. "All right." Saying that, he got up, his body tense, and walked out of the bedroom. Through the slightly ajar door, I heard the sound of a lighter and smelled faint cigarette smoke. I thought gloomily, "So, he smokes too." After I don't know, the front door opened and closed. Robert was gone. My heart suddenly felt empty. I couldn't even sleep soundly. I stayed awake until dawn. For the next 2 days, Robert didn't contact me, and I didn't contact him. Only when I was leaving the clock tower residence with my luggage did I send him a message. "A month is up. I'm leaving." I left the key on the coffee table. He didn't reply to my message all day. Only in the evening did he change his WeChat profile picture to a pure black photo and set his moment's visibility to the last 3 days. I assumed he understood. On the morning of the 3rd day, David and I met at City Hall. As we were about to get a number, he suddenly asked me, "Are you sure you want to divorce the boss?" He sighed. "I feel like the boss likes you. When he's with you, he's very attentive to you, and he's happy himself, but in the past few days, you've been arguing, and he's been furious at the office every day. I've never seen him get that angry. He yells at everyone, even the trash can by the elevator." I was surprised. "That probably has nothing to do with me. It must be about the woman outside. Besides you, the boss doesn't have any other women." But I saw, seeing isn't always believing. "Why don't you call him and ask if he likes you?" I didn't want to ask, but David insisted, and finally, he made the call. He said, "Boss, I see you've been in a very bad mood lately. Is it because of Sarah?" "Do you like Sarah?" My heart leaped into my throat instantly, and I strained my ears to listen carefully. Robert's voice was cold. "No, I'm just playing with her. Where are you? Why aren't you at the office yet?" "I'm at City Hall, helping you get the divorce certificate." Robert was surprised. "Didn't we already get divorced last time?" "Last time was just the registration. This time is getting the certificate." "Oh, come to the office early after you're done." Saying that, Robert hung up the phone. David and I exchanged glances. Half an hour later, I received the red divorce certificate. Returning to my rented place, I informed my dad about the divorce. My dad didn't react much because he was also getting getting a divorce. 3 days later, the Grand Horizon restaurant. While waiting for the elevator on the first floor with my dad, I unexpectedly ran into Robert talking business with a few people by the elevator. Robert acted like he didn't see me, didn't give me a single glance, and didn't acknowledge my dad either. I was a bit nervous, afraid my dad would suddenly fawn over Robert and say things like he still hoped Robert would look out for us after the divorce. Fortunately, my dad was deep in thought and preoccupied with his world. When the elevator doors opened, Robert and the others went inside. I wanted to wait for the next one, but my dad also went in and even reached out and pulled me in. Robert seemed to glance at my dad, and my hands were clasped together. But he was standing behind us, so I wasn't sure. I just felt the atmosphere in the elevator was extremely oppressive. Only after getting out of the elevator and seeing that Robert didn't follow did I dare breathe deeply. In the private room, I buried my head in my food. My parents started discussing property division and who I would live with later. They couldn't agree and started arguing again. My head ached from listening, and I put down my chopsticks. "I'll come back in after you've finished talking." I walked to the window by the private room corridor, opened the window slightly, and let the cold wind clear my aching head. Soon after, my dad came out. He lit a cigarette and looked at me. "What do you plan to do? Go with her or with me?" I pursed my lips and said nothing. He sighed. "Come with me. I can help you buy the plot of land at Aunt Carol's place. You can build a house there according to your design." Aunt Carol had no children. After she and Uncle Bob passed away, the house was occupied by Aunt Carol's nephew, Jim. I cherished the warmth Aunt Carol had given me and wanted to buy the land to rebuild the house, but her nephew was asking for an exorbitant price. Hearing my dad mention it now, I was very tempted and smiled faintly. "Okay, as long as you can get that plot of land, I'll go with you." My dad breathed a sigh of relief and smiled with relief. He was about to reach out and touch my hair, but a large, well-defined hand grabbed my wrist and pulled me back. I was startled. After regaining my balance, I looked up and saw Robert looking at me, his eyes filled with fury. His voice was sarcastic, his tone so cold it seemed to drip ice. "You found yourself a new partner just 3 days after we broke up. Or were you hooking up with him the whole time you were with me? With that old man look of his, is he richer than me, or can he make you happier than me?" Seeing this, my dad was so shocked he dropped his cigarette on the floor. I was also stunned, not understanding how Robert could misunderstand my dad and me, but the terrible things he said afterward made me feel truly wronged. Disappointed and angry, I mustered all my strength and slapped him, my voice hoarse and unpleasant. "Since I'm so despicable in your eyes, why are you bothering me? Get lost." 5 red finger marks appeared on his pale face, and his voice became even colder and more sarcastic. "I didn't want to bother you, but I thought about you being with me, and then going off with someone old enough to be your father, and I felt embarrassed. Whether you want money, a body, or land, just say the word, and I'll give it to you." "Why him and not me? Am I worth less to you than a dirty old man?" The more he spoke, the more emotional he became. By the end, his voice held a hint of grievance. I was utterly speechless. My dad's face was red and pale by turns. Although he was 58, he was a tall man at 1.8 meters, with sculpted, handsome features, and he worked out regularly, making him a very attractive older man. Being called a dirty old man by Robert at this moment, he was truly angry but dared not speak. He could only clear his throat and say solemnly, "Mr. Gu, I don't know why you would misunderstand Sarah and me, but I must make it clear that we have a legitimate father-daughter relationship. I am her father, and she is my daughter." Robert looked as if he'd been struck by lightning. Freezing on the spot, after a long while, he asked me awkwardly, "Is he your dad?" I rolled my eyes at him. My dad took over, absolutely, but my dad couldn't understand, and he frowned. "How could you not even know this? Come to think of it, you were my son-in-law for 3 years. Her husband for 3 years. A vein throbbed on Robert's forehead. "Are you saying the daughter you had an arranged marriage with me is Sarah?" My dad looked embarrassed. "She's my only daughter. Who else would she be?" Robert's usually expressionless face showed a rare mix of shock, excitement, and joy. He breathed a sigh of relief, first apologizing to my dad, then looking at me with a smile. "So we were married, you kept it well hidden." I sneered. "Not anymore. We divorced 3 days ago." His handsome face showed a hint of a crack. "That doesn't count." I didn't agree. "Oh, didn't you forget? You instructed David to inform me about the divorce. Besides, the divorce certificate has the official seal, and you have a copy too. That's that. My dad and I have things to do." Not wanting to talk to him anymore, I pulled my dad's hand and walked towards the private room. He grabbed my hand. "I still have something to tell you." "I don't want to hear it. I like you." My dad and I froze. My dad was overjoyed. He let go of my hand, told me to talk to Robert properly, and left first. Robert pulled me closer into his embrace, looked into my eyes, and said seriously, "Sarah, I like you. Can we start over?" My heart was pounding so fast, but fortunately, I didn't lose my rationality. Wasn't it just for fun? How did it turn into liking? "You heard what David and I said." He sighed and explained slowly, "I had an older brother. He was extremely outstanding, but he fell in love with a woman with narcissistic personality disorder. Later, she tormented him so much that he committed suicide. My parents, for the sake of reputation, claimed it was a sudden illness. That incident affected me greatly, making me determined never to fall in love or be controlled by a woman's emotions. But after I met you, or to be precise, the moment you risked danger to shield me, I liked you, but I had never been in a relationship before. So I didn't know that was called liking. I only knew I wanted to see you smile, wanted to be good to you, and then seeing you kiss other men, cry for other men, seeing you not care at all when I was close to other women, my heart would feel extremely angry, my insides burning with pain. Now, I finally understand. I like you, and I want to be with you forever." Faced with this sudden, tragic story and heartfelt confession, I was deeply moved. Unable to speak for a moment, he seemed a little anxious. "Could you try to like me a little? Give me a chance?" I provoked him. "Do you have some kind of problem? To like a woman like me who would even go for a dirty old man for money?" His expression froze, and he said regretfully, "I'm sorry. I was too angry and misunderstood you just now. I said too much. There's no misunderstanding. I do like money, then I happen to be the richest man. Why don't you stay by my side and specialize in spending my money?" My heart fluttered slightly. "Aren't you afraid of saying something so romance-brained and becoming like your brother?" "No, I'm not, because I know you're very kind. You won't hurt me, and I won't hurt you. I will love you well. But not long ago, you were so sure, saying, 'Never fall in love with me. It's impossible for me to love you, let alone marry you. How can I trust you?'" He rubbed his forehead. "I was putting up a front before. I also didn't expect you to have such immense charm, making me willing to surrender to you. If possible, I'd take you to remarry right now." I smiled. "Come find me after you've cleared your head. People who aren't right for each other will eventually separate, just like my parents. They're almost 60, but right now, they're sitting in the private room discussing their divorce." He froze for a moment. "So when your dad said go with, he meant after their divorce, you'd go with him or with my mom?" I raised an eyebrow at him. "What else?" "A month and a half later, my parents did get divorced. I didn't go with either of them and returned to Aunt Carol's place in the countryside. Robert followed me there too, to be precise. He followed me shamelessly, despite my objections. He helped me get the plot of land at Aunt Carol's place back at a normal price. I designed the blueprints and hired a professional construction team. 2 months later, the main structure of the house was built. Robert still hadn't left. Every day, besides working remotely, he was like a house husband, buying groceries, cooking, doing laundry, and cleaning for me. He was tall and had a cold, noble demeanor, not at all like someone who would do such mundane chores. Yet, he did everything exceptionally well. He became the talk of the local gossip. Unable to bear the pressure, I told him to leave. "Can you go back to Sterling City? I don't need you to stay here." He sat on the sofa, his handsome face rubbing against my neck, whining in a forced voice. "No, I can't. I need to see you all the time." I felt goosebumps and provoked him. "Then what about your women in Sterling City? They're waiting for you to kiss them." He chuckled softly, cupped my face, and said, "You're finally willing to ask me. That woman is my cousin. She grew up abroad. It was just a kiss on the cheek as a greeting." "Oh, then I'll find a cousin to kiss on the cheek too." "You wouldn't dare. It's just a kiss on the cheek as a greeting." "Why wouldn't I dare?" He sighed. "It's my fault. I won't let her kiss me again next time. My body and soul belong only to you." I gently hummed in response. He asked, "When are you going to remarry me?" "Depends on your performance." I couldn't help but laugh, my shoulders shaking. He got up, pulled me up, and walked towards the door. "I'm taking you to the local gossips right now to get their opinion. See if there's anyone as bullying as you." I panicked, clinging tightly to the table leg, laughing as I said, "No, no, no. I promise you, okay?" He stopped, leaned over, and looked at me expectantly. "Call me husband." "No, I'll call you sugar daddy. He glared at me. You don't want to? If you don't want to, then forget it. Pretend I didn't. He suddenly lowered his head and sucked on my lips, kissing me intensely, pulling me towards the bedroom. After some communication, he finally beamed with joy upon hearing that word, husband.